Now let's get into the NACP report card. So NSC, if you guys know what this is the National Achievement report card, the nation's report card, and it goes into the proficiency rates due based on ethnicity. So this is from the 12th grade, 2019. And as you can see, let's do Asians. Look at Asians. This is the majority. The majority of Asians are either proficient academically or advanced. Craziness. All right. Now, let's look at the black people. Look. You look at the difference between Asians. Only 20% of Asians are below the basic average in the national report card. And if you look at blacks, 66% in 2019. And only 7% of blacks are proficient. And there's so little blacks that are advanced, has advanced academic achievement that doesn't even show up statistically. This is a problem. And this is for mathematics, which is one of the black people's weakest subjects, right? And then this is kind of what drives why there's such a low amount of black people in STEM, engineering, right? I saw something somewhere that there's not a single, for certain science-based majors, there's not a single PhD held by a black person. In physics, I believe, astro, I forgot the exact title, but when all these companies are, oh, we're going to put black people in tech, we need black and Hispanic people in tech. From what pool? You're going to be pulling Hispanic and black people from other majors to fill it up? And this is why affirmative action is failing in these tech companies. Why, when they get massive layoffs, they lay off a lot of women, a lot of Hispanics, a lot of black people, if they had anything in the first place. Because the pool of candidates is so small that it's impossible to fill their ranks based on racial quota. And this is a problem. Like, this is a problem. You can see, like, no matter how much you try to give the water to black people, you can't make them drink. Black people are suffering over a skill gap. I can admit that, yes. Black people don't have the skills to take advantage of a lot of these opportunities. I admit that. But it's not because of racism. It's because of personal behaviors in the home. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Personally, my mom, immigrant, when I was born here, whatever, she taught me how to read at 6 years old. Now, if you went out and surveyed black people, say, hey, did your son know how to read at age 6? I bet you many of them will say no. Remember, this community, black community, is raised by 72% single motherhood. As a single mother, my mom wasn't single at the time she was teaching me how to read. She was still with my father, right? Single moms, when my mom became a single mom, after she separated from my father, she didn't do that for my little brother, right? And I think this is why I have such a love for reading, because I was exposed to it at an early age. A lot of single parents don't have time to invest in their kids, to teach them about financial literacy, how to read. Hell, read bedtime stories. Single parents don't have time for that. They don't have time to instill those advantages into their kids. But guess what? Asian parents do this. Kumon, I don't have it with me right here. But Kumon is a curriculum that Japanese people use a lot to educate their kids, starting from the age of 2. And is it no surprise that these Asian people are outperforming a lot of the other groups of people in academics? Majority of Asians in school are either proficient at a grade level or advanced. This is why. At 2 years old, they're teaching their kids already. Oh, here you go. I'm doing that to my son right now. My son already knows how to write, trace, cut, learning numbers at 2. Because that's why I decided to expose him. And all I'm saying is that black people, hey, let's change our behavior. Let's change how we approach academia. Let's not sit back and wait for people to change the standards. Lower the standards for us so we can remain comfortable doing the same thing that's not working, which hurts us in the long run. And I'll show you a case why. Right. And here's this information I want to point back to before I move on to the next subject, next story. I still got 7 minutes before I go into the Dinesh D'Souza video. Right here for the NACP report card for reading, 50% of black 12th graders were below basic in 12th grade reading in 2019. 16% were proficient readers, and only 1% of black people in 2019, black students, black 12th graders in high school, were proficient as advanced readers. Sad. You want to see the Asians? Asians for reading. Asian 12th graders were below basic only 20% of Asians was below reading standards in 2019 for 12th grade reading. 37% of them were proficient and 15% were advanced for reading. Oh, sorry, my bad. I read the wrong stat. For reading, yeah, it's the same stat. 14% of Asians were advanced readers. Reading, having literacy is a big advantage that black people don't, as a culture, focus enough to incentivize their children to go into. When I was growing up black in high school, people made fun of me for being smart, for knowing how to do my math off the top of my head, how to read, how to speak well in public speaking. It was a big skill I have. Black culture, black people used to make fun of me. And if I wasn't the kind of person I was, I mentioned before in earlier videos that I'm a nonconformist. It's not easy for people to make me, like, peer pressure me into being something that I'm not. I'll say, hey, look, this is how my parents raised me. I have to do right by them. I don't care what y'all think of me. I don't want to be dumb. But this is the kind of incentive that the black culture has pushed young black impressionable people down the road. Oh, don't be financially literate. Don't know how to read. Don't know how to write. Don't know how to speak English. Oh, let's speak ghetto. Let's speak slang. Slang only limits your possibility of networking. Because if I talk proper English, I can socialize and network with any American. But if I was talking, what you do, shawty? What's going on, boy? If I was talking like that, Asians won't be able to understand me. White people won't be able to understand me. Hispanic people may not be able to understand me. I limit my economic opportunities, and it shows. People who knows how to speak English perform better in economics than people who only speak Spanish, who speak the non-native tongue. Duh. High income jobs are primarily in English. If you want to work for some Fortune 500 company, they're not going to only speak a solely Spanish speaker. It's impossible. When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. It's also a problem of assimilation, right? Even in Hispanics. Look, Hispanics are doing a little bit better than the blacks by 4%. See, less of them are falling behind, right? And it's just willingness, right? It's just willingness. Don't they call, Jonathan Field says, don't they call it Ebonics? Yes, that's what it's called. I forgot. Which is just slang. People say it's actually a language and it's not, and it's just dumbed down English. What do you think? It is dumbed down English. I did a video on this before. I forgot which video it was, honestly, Jonathan Field. But yeah. And it limits like someone who's focused their time saying Ebonics, right? Learning Ebonics and saying this is an actual language. Bruh, you're setting these people up for failure. You're setting up these people where they can't get a job. They won't be able to actually perform well academically. And you wonder why black people are falling behind in reading. Only 1% of black readers are advanced for reading. Only 14% of black students in the 12th grade are actually proficient at reading. That means when most black students go into college, they'll have to take remedial reading because of Ebonics, because of slang, because they want to stay comfortable. And this is my biggest problem. I think the biggest cause of black failure is the expectations that society has on black people. I feel like people have a lower bar, a lower standard on black people than they have for everyone else. Everyone else have to rise to the standard. Black people, oh no, that's okay. It's okay. You only got one right answer out of 10. That's good enough for you. The bigotry of low expectations. I think that's a big part. The CRT style of learned helplessness. When I raise my kids are not going to be helpless. I'm not going to take any excuses from them. Sorry. Oh, some white kid said call you the N-word. Why? Why call you the N-word? What you do to him? How you respond? Because you only can do two things. You're either going to prove them right or you're going to prove them wrong. Are you going to prove that you're a dumb N-word? Or are you going to show, oh, you just saying that because you know I'm better than you. And you think you're going to get a rise out of me by calling me the N-word. That's where all this really comes from. Yeah, and yes, Jonathan Fields, I am doing well. So let's go on to the next story of how the bigotry of low expectation, how it hurts people in the long run. So this is a story from, I remember it happened a year ago, February 2021. That was a San Francisco school board eliminated academic admission standards for renowned schools. So now there's this popular thing that the left likes to do. Remember, the left think they're supposed to come in here and save black folks from the bigotry of high expectations, right? And they decided to remove the admissions of a nationally acclaimed high school in hopes of increasing racial diversity. This is why people who push for diversity, and this is why I did my video on inconvenient truths about identity politics. When you push for diversity, you're chasing two different goals. Diversity is not your strength. Diversity only cares about one thing. Either you have a bunch of people that look diverse, or it actually is increase the quality of the product that you have. Right? So they decided to do this. Longwell High School, a long lightning rod for issues of race and education, has been the San Francisco School District only 9 to 12 campus to base admissions for a formula of grades and standardized testing for most students. And here's another thing a lot of people don't tell you about standardized testing, and I'm almost going to wrap up here soon. The point of standardized testing was to eliminate special treatment, right? You couldn't just get into a high-ranking school because you happen to know the dean of students. No. Or you happen to be from a rich family, or you happen to have legacy-based admissions. It was to give people who had no connections, right? No pedigree, no institution behind them, just on the merit of their skill, they were able to make it into college, into these institutions. It was supposed to equalize opportunity. Hey, may the best people win, regardless if you came from a poor household, a rich household, middle class household, Hispanic, black, it don't matter. You got the scores, you should be allowed in. It was supposed to eliminate class-based standards. That was the point of standardized testing. Now these people, these DEI, racial equitist people, want to say now that standardized testing are racist because black people and Hispanic people don't perform as well. And this school is mostly Asian, if I remember correctly. Right? This is what they worry about. Out of the 2,000 students, 18% were white, 11% Hispanic, 1.8% were black, and 50% was Asian, largely Chinese. Oh my God, this is not proportional. My representation. Does it matter? Like, honestly, if the way the school had it with their standardized testing and all this stuff, they had one of the best schools in San Francisco's district. And what did liberal, democratic California decide to do? Oh, let's change it because of segregation and exclusion. The process has created a school that does not reflect the diversity of UFCSD students and perpetuates segregation and exclusion. Failure for a lack of achievement. This is what it is. Instead of recognizing the reality, hey, we can't fix this. We have to help black people fix this for themselves. Government, get out of the way. This is the government getting out of the way. So what did the California Education Code decide to do? That high demand school must enroll students through a random, unbiased process according to resolutions. Like standardized tests is not unbiased. Because liberals didn't get an outcome they perceive to be right, they want to change the system. And you look, if you have half a brain, you already know what happens. So here's the result. A year after, so remember February 2021, they decided that, hey, we're going to do a random lottery system, unbiased, right? We're just going to put random people and make it proportional. 30% black, 12% Asian, 12% Hispanic, 50% white, right? And that's how we divvy up the lotteries, the lotteries, right? New data shows shift at Longwell High School, more students giving failing grades after admission change. This is the result. I have a saying I like to repeat. If you test a theory in reality and reality shows you your theory is wrong, you must accept that your theory is wrong. Diversity doesn't improve performance. Diversity only tries to virtue signal and show, look how good we are. Look, we have a diverse school. But is it actually helping the people you're putting in that environment? This is what I'm saying. Affirmative action, it sets minorities up for failure because you put minorities in a position where they can't really compete. If I put a 6-foot point guard and I say, hey, we need more diversity at the center position for basketball, we're going to put you at center. And he's going against these 6'9", 250 power forward centers. I'm setting him up for not to perform well in that environment because his skill set could not meet the demand that I place on him. And this is what you're doing to a lot of minority students when you use affirmative action or you just place them based on racial quota. You lower the standards. And what? And in effect, you what? You lower the quality of the education.